4 teenagers go camping on Lake Catherine. However, only 2 return alive. That's what happened 2 years ago on Halloween.
To this day, rumors surround the deaths of 2 boys from Garland County. But the families of those teenagers say the truth about what happened has not been revealed. KRK News 4's Jeremy Finley joins us with more. Jeremy?
Well, Denise, Bob, of all the mysteries surrounding the deaths of the teens, only one thing is known for certain. Sometime, somehow, Nic Singleton and Clayton Dixon drowned in the darkness of the waters of Lake Catherine.
This is something you never get past. It's with me every day, every morning, every night.
Is it over? I still hear about it every day.
I think that anytime you have a tragedy like this, there's always going to be some unanswered questions.
Even the time of death is a mystery. Sometime on the night of October 30th or the morning of October 31st, 2000, the waters of Lake Catherine claimed 2 lives, 17-year-old Clayton Dixon and 16-year-old Nic Singleton. They came to camp here with 2 friends and never returned. Before the trip, Nic, Clayton, 17-year-old Justin Fant, and 18-year-old Aaron Looper hung out together at Clayton's mother's house. This home video captures them as what they were, 4 friends, preparing to escape their daily routines with a 2-day camping trip. The 4 took Clayton's car to the beach and set up camp that evening. What happened next prompted a criminal investigation, numerous interviews, and agony for this mother.
But my son was always very good about calling me. And after the first day when I got no call, I knew something was wrong.
What the teens did before they reached the beach was something they kept from their parents. They had heard the drug Dramamine produced a great high. Investigators say Nic took a huge dose, as did Justin. Clayton took a smaller amount. Only Aaron took another drug, an antidepressant he hoped would give him a high as well. Before the day turned to night, the drugs were already affecting the 4. The pages of the investigation tell the first written statements of what happened. Writing about that night, Aaron says he fell asleep in the car, was awoken at 2 a.m. by his 3 friends yelling and splashing in the water, and then went back to sleep. But it's what Justin wrote that baffled investigators. He writes he woke up to see Nic and Clayton heading for the woods because they heard a cry for help. And the 3 of them went in pursuit. Justin writes they ended up near a house where a man came out of that house, pulled a gun on the 3, and told them to stop. Justin says he then ran, fell into some water, and was picked up by an officer nearby. After that, he heard a gunshot. At the bottom of the account, he writes that Nic and Clayton were taking Dramamine, but does not mention himself. But the deputy called to the house on a prowler call says he picked up Justin there, that he never ran, and that no other teens were present. After the man at the house chose not to press charges of trespassing, the deputy took 17-year-old Justin to a gas station nearby and left him there, wet, muddy, and alone, to call for a ride home.
There's too many unanswered questions that still need answering.
In the days that followed, search crews looked for Nic and Clayton. Several days later, their bodies were found in the water near to the campsite. An autopsy later showed the 2 died from drowning. But to this day, no one knows how they ended up in the water. The only 2 people that were there that night, alive today, say they were both on drugs. For the mother of Clayton Dixon, the mystery compounded at his memorial when this card was passed to her through the crowd.
It said, Susan, the devil did not take your son. He gave his life for his brother.
That card and the mounting questions and rumors surrounding Nic and Clayton's death led her to one conclusion about the teens who survived the camping trip.
I just know in my heart that they're responsible.
Now, just last month, the prosecutor closed the case after no foul play was found. He says that enabled him to legally release all of the information and the evidence to the family. All of that has now been passed on to us. Coming up tomorrow night at 10, you'll hear from the lead investigator in the case, the prosecutor, and for the very first time, Justin Fant and Aaron Looper speak out. They answer our questions about what happened that night. We look deeper into this mystery tomorrow night after the Olympics. Bob, Denise?
Thanks,
All right,
Jeremy.
Jeremy, thanks a lot.
Urban legend in Hot Springs. We told you about the mysterious drownings of 2 teenagers in Garland County last night.
That's right. Tonight, we have information apparently never revealed until now about what happened from those who were there. Jeremy Finley continues his coverage of the story tonight. Good evening, Jeremy.
Well, good evening, Bob. Nic Singleton and Clayton Dixon drowned in the waters of Lake Catherine 2 Halloweens ago. That is a fact. But beyond that exists a world of accusations and rumors.
I look at the lake every day from my front deck.
The waters that took her son's life surround Susan Strider, a constant reminder of the camping trip he never returned from.
There's too many unanswered questions that still need answering.
What is known for certain about the camping trip is this. 4 friends, Clayton Dixon, Nick Singleton, Aaron Looper, and Justin Fant, came to this beach on the eve before Halloween. Sometime in the night or the following morning, Nick and Clayton disappeared. Days later, an extensive search found the teens' bodies in the water. A coroner's report showed they died from drowning with no evidence of foul play.
They rated it as being a drowning, and that's all that we have on it.
The autopsy also showed Nick had taken a large dose of Dramamine. Clayton had taken a smaller amount. The investigation showed the teens thought the drug would give them a great high. The mix of drugs and water led to the teens' deaths, according to investigators.
As it looks right now, it was an accident. And I don't have any other reason to believe otherwise.
But how they ended up in the water and why remains a mystery.
It's been heartbreaking, it's been maddening, it's been enraging.
Is it over? I still hear about it every day.
The drownings also haunt the 2 teens who went camping that night and are alive today. The deceased boys' families and many others in this area have pointed the finger of blame at them. This is the first time they have spoken about what happened publicly.
I didn't have a part in it. That's what I say about my part in it.
They blame me for something that I looked them dead in their eyes and swore on my life that I did not do it.
Justin does admit he took a large dose of Dramamine that night, and Aaron says he took an antidepressant that was supposed to give him a high as well. In their written accounts to deputies of what happened, Aaron says he slept the entire night, waking up only once to see his friends splashing in the water. Justin writes he woke up to see Nick and Clayton entering the woods because they heard a cry for help. The major inconsistency to this story happened in the area right behind me. That's where Justin says he, Nick, and Clayton were stopped by a man who held them at gunpoint. Justin says he got scared and ran and ended up on a street nearby where a deputy found him and picked him up. But the police report shows a different story. It reads that Justin was picked up at the house, and the man holding the gun told police he only saw 1 teenager, not 3. That man, Gerald Sly, lives in the house and told police he came outside because he heard prowlers. He also told us that he didn't want to comment any further on the case, but that the police reports tell what really happened. The mystery continues with this gas station. Justin says, and police reports confirm, that after he was picked up, the deputy took him to this gas station nearby. He was wet, muddy, and according to Justin, obviously high on drugs. But despite that, the deputy left him here alone at 3 a.m. Justin says he was never questioned that night about why he was in the woods in the first place.
Why has there never been an internal investigation?
Clayton's mother also wonders what would have happened if deputies had questioned Justin further and at that time searched the woods for the friends Justin says were with him.
Our 2 boys could have still been alive at that time.
But everyone involved in this case knows the time for what-ifs is long over. Among this tale of drugs, mismatched accounts, a gun, and a mysterious cry for help, 2 boys somehow ended up in the water, never to surface alive.
The truth will come out someday. Everything comes out in the wash.
I didn't have no part in their death, but they have a part in me with them, and they always will.
It's bad enough to lose a child to an accident or an illness, but to lose a child and not be able to say what happened, that's the worst.
Susan Strider says she'd like to see an outside agency investigate the case. Now, about that incident at the gas station, the sheriff of Garland County tells us the deputy thought Justin was okay. That's why he left him at the gas station to call for a ride. Now, investigators tell us although the case is now closed, they continue to chase leads in this case to this day and will investigate every possibility they get. Bob, Denise?
Thanks very much, Jerry. Very interesting.